Hello, welcome to my classroom temporarily. I am going to run through this PowerPoint of types of volcanoes just in case you don't want to do it all by yourself and you'd rather listen to me. Yeah, so here I go. You don't need to see me anymore, so let's put that over there. So we're going to start by looking at this slide. This is normally what I would have been showing you the day after we took our volcano notes, where we talked about viscosity. Did you do your homework? I hope you did. So the slide on the left is showing a volcano erupting. This is actually Kilauea, and the type of lava around here. Obviously, this guy isn't running for his life. So it's a gentle flow compared to this one, which is a giant eruption with high viscosity lava. So the difference there, which we would have discussed in class, was that one of them is just lava flowing out freely, the other one explosive. So low viscosity, high viscosity. All right. And of course, this isn't going to let me go to the next slide. There we go. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the different types of volcanoes. The three most common volcanoes that we're going to be focusing on: the shield volcano, like a shield; cinder cone volcano, like a cone; and the composite or stratovolcano. We talked about this in class as well, that composite means it's made up of different things, and there's a cute little diagram of that. So let's go into more detail of those. We're also going to talk about calderas, lava domes, and supervolcanoes, but we'll get to those in a little bit. Okay, so like I said, the shield volcano is shaped like a shield, like Captain America's shield, and it is dome-shaped. It has a gentle slope because lava is flowing out through that central vent in all directions. And it's made completely of lava flow, so it doesn't have cinders and other things mixed in there. It's just from lava that cools and hardens. So it grows out more than up. The magma, if you were filling this in on your sheet, by the way, types of volcano sheet, there is a link to this on my blog, some attachments. There is also one that's already filled in, so you can see that. If it helps you to learn by writing things down, I do suggest that you fill this out. So we just finished the definition box for shield volcano. We are now into the magma and viscosity of a shield volcano. Low viscosity, thin, like blowing bubbles in chocolate milk. It accumulates over a long period of time, so it's constantly flowing and it's constantly building. The gas escapes easily, so not usually big explosions, although it can build up. Okay, when the lava cools, it's creating this basalt rock. So there's an example of basalt rock. You've probably seen things like some of these before. It's pretty cool. Okay, the shield volcano's eruption, it's usually not going to be explosive. It is frequent and gentle. There's lots of lava continuously flowing, and this gas escapes very easily. So it's not, the big giant explosion that you think of with things flying all over the place. So like the picture at the beginning, it's flowing slowly, so people know that they need to get out of the way and they have time to escape. Examples of a shield volcano: Mauna Loa in Hawaii, and Kilauea, which is at this moment one of the most active volcanoes in the world. All right, moving on to cinder cone. If you are filling this one in, we're on the second row. A cinder cone is cone-shaped. It's made of cinders, so that makes perfect sense. It's all coming from a single vent. So in the middle here that you can see there, it's just a single vent coming out of the volcano. Cinders, if you know the story of Cinderella, you know that her name isn't really Cinderella, but her nasty little stepsisters called her that because they'd make her sleep by the fireplace and she would wake up in the morning with ash all over her. So that's the word cinders. All right, so the magma and viscosity of a cinder cone volcano, it's low viscosity again. It does have more gas usually, so there's gonna be lots of bubbles. The rock is basalt, scoria, or igneous. You've probably seen these before. A lot of people use these in landscapings where they'll put them where they're going to be planting some things that they want to keep weeds out of. And there's some around here where I live. It makes a really cool sound when you walk on it, kind of a hollow, weird glassy sound. All right, the cinder cone eruption. This is a video that I will have more information about. This is Mount Etna in Sicily. And there's lots and lots of really cool videos of it exploding at nighttime. Anyway, the eruption, it erupts suddenly, right? The lava spurts up and it goes straight up. And then as you can see, all those cinders, the lava that's coming out of it cools kind of before it even hits the ground, or just as it's hitting the ground, it's turning back into a solid. And that's what those cinders are. Usually you're going to have that circular or oval crater on a steep-sided volcano. So this is the classic cartoon volcano. So there you go, Mount Etna in Sicily. Also, this is one of my favorites. I like to show this every year. It's not a very well-known cinder cone, but it's called the SP crater in Arizona. And the reason I think it's fun is because of what SP stands for. I'm not allowed to say it. I can say the P. The P stands for pot. And it came from when cowboys were riding by it in Arizona, and they said it looked like a something pot. The S stands for another word for poop. It's something you poop in. I think you can figure that out. All right. And then there's also this beautiful sunset crater. You can visit this in Arizona. I did. So it's a national monument and it's beautiful and it's really cool. Lots and lots of lava flows and things that you can see. All right. We got the composite or stratovolcano. It's the same exact thing, just with two different names. So we talked about this as well because there's so many of them around this area. They are made of alternating lava and cinders. So the first one, the shield volcano, is entirely lava. The cinder cone is cinders. This one is made of both. They're usually very tall, steep with concave sides, and it has a small crater, but it can have several vents coming off. So you can see these vents coming off the side, and sometimes that's what will erupt. The magma of a composite or stratovolcano is going to be very high viscosity, which is what makes it so explosive, and lots and lots of toxic gas that's under pressure. And besides basalt rock, there's these other kinds, andesite and dacite and rhyolite. Yeah. All right, the eruption. I could watch that all day. It's so cool. So yes, the eruption is violent. We talked about pyroclastic flow and what happens with that, that it's lots of toxic hot gas coming down the side of the mountain at really, really fast speeds. It can explode from the sides as well as the top. Mount Vesuvius, a lot of people have heard of Pompeii and that big disaster there. That is a strato or composite volcano. Mount Baker is also, as well as Mount St. Helens. This is a cool picture before and after the eruption. Lava domes. So now we're on the second page. And so the lava domes are, I guess they're their own little baby volcano within a volcano. So normally it's going to be inside the crater of another volcano. So they are magma that isn't able to escape. It just pushes up and creates a dome. Yeah. So there's not really layers to it. It's usually very, very small. And as you can see here, it's just the ground welling up. It's usually very, very, well, it's really, really high viscosity lava, so much so that it doesn't even flow. The eruption, it just piles up around the vent. So it's not the kind of eruption you think of with lava flowing. So they form inside of craters of stratovolcanoes a lot of times. So over here on the left, before Mount St. Helens erupted and after, and then this lava dome started to grow inside of it. The eruption happened in 1980. 1982 was when you could see it. It grew, it kept growing until about 1986. And then it stopped. Isn't it pretty? All right, so examples of lava domes after the eruption of Mount St. Helens. And that's what it looked like, how much of it blew off. And then the lava dome at Mount Lassen in California is another cool one you can visit. All right, calderas are really cool. So a caldera is a bowl-shaped depression where a volcano once was, or a giant mountain was, until it erupted and exploded. It's usually a basin, like a bowl with steep sides. And here's how they form. So what happens is you have this eruption of a volcano, this top left picture here. And so you have the eruption, all that magma gets pushed out, but it explodes so much that the magma chamber under here empties and has this empty space. And you know, Mother Nature hates, yeah, I'm pretty sure you all just said empty space, right? And so then the volcano has to fill that space. And whatever's left above it collapses into that empty space and creates this little crater. If it fills with water, it's a crater lake. If it doesn't fill with water, it's called a caldera, not a crater. All right, so there's a picture of one. And this is, I'll talk about it in a minute. This is Crater Lake. So what's left after a massive explosion? A great big hole. So a crater lake is a caldera. A crater is not a caldera, and this gets very confusing, but basically a crater can also be made by impacts from meteorites and different things that come in from space or from explosions. So a caldera is from a volcano. We won't get into that anymore. All right, so the Newberry National Volcanic Monument in Oregon is really cool. I went to visit this and didn't know a lot about it until I got there. It is a shield volcano, but it's also a stratovolcano, as well as a cinder cone volcano. Does it have a caldera? It is a caldera. Yes, it's a little bit of everything. So this is a cool picture up here on top. This is what's left of it, but before it exploded, it was all the way up here. And this is what it looks like looking down on it. Okay. So yes, it has it all. It was considered a shield volcano only because of its shape. It is actually a composite volcano made up of the lava flows and pyroclastic deposits, so ash and lava flowing back and forth. This is a really cool part here. This is its own little cinder cone volcano that's growing off of the main volcano. It's called Lava Butte. You can go up there and see the top of it. This is the view from the top, and there's lots and lots of cinders. So this is cool to walk around on, and the cinders sound really cool. I won't torture you with that video that I made. It also has a super cool lava cave. This is the Lava River Cave that you can go into. You can hike through it with a headlamp. And there's more. If any of you have played Minecraft, you know obsidian is worth a lot in Minecraft. It is plentiful here, though. You can go walk on these pumice and obsidian fields. So the big rocks right here, that's all obsidian, all of that. It's so cool. And obsidian is also used not just for building in Minecraft, but in real life, it can be used to make knives and arrowheads and spears and things because it's really super sharp. So it will cut you. Yeah, so you got to be careful. You're not allowed to take any from there. I didn't, but I did pick some up and look at it, and it hurt me. All right, Crater Lake is one of the best known calderas. There was a mountain there called Mount Mazama, and it erupted 7,700 years ago. It was so violent, it blew the top off, and then it collapsed in and left this big, giant, gaping hole that then filled with water. Wizard Island is there if you get a chance to go. It's this cute little cinder cone volcano in the caldera that rose up from underneath. And it is really that blue. It's gorgeous. It's the deepest lake in the United States, and Mount Mazama is dormant but not extinct. Also, you can swim in Crater Lake, so there's my son about to jump in, and it's extremely, extremely cold. It does not get very warm at all because it's so deep, but that yellow stuff over there, that's pollen. That's not dirt, that's pollen. It's very, very crystal clear and beautiful. All right, Mount Lassen is cool too. So this is in California. And we went through there not knowing much about this one as well. And then we found these sulfur vents that you can go by, and they are gross. So I'm going to play you this video here.
All right, so like sulfur is smelly. It smells like rotten eggs and farts. And if you could smell it, if this was a scratch and sniff video, that's what it smelled like. That's boiling. Ew, stinky boil.
All right. I don't know how to get out of that. There we go. Oops, now we're out to here. All right. I don't want that. Okay, back to this. Let's skip right through that. All right, and the other one I wanted to show you was this caldera called Ngorongoro in Tanzania. I also got to go to this one. It was very exciting. This one is from 2.5 million years ago. It was a giant mountain that then erupted and collapsed. The coolest thing about this is you can find almost every animal that is in East Africa. It fills up with water enough that all the animals can go in there and get water after the rainy season. And it's just really cool. Over 30,000 different animals living in the crater. Almost every animal. The ones that aren't there are, I think it was impala, and I know giraffes for sure that aren't in there because they can't get in and out of the steep sides of it, but the other ones can manage to get in and out. Covers 100 square miles, 2,000 feet deep. So it's a really cool drive in and out of it because you have to go up and down the sides. It has not erupted in 2.5 million years, and so it is considered extinct, and you should go there. All right, and then most people, when I showed pictures of this in class, knew this, or at least they do now. This is Yellowstone, and it is considered a supervolcano. So here's some cool things about supervolcanoes. They were once a mountain, a volcano that erupted, and they are considered super volcanoes if the VEI is an 8 or above. So that's the volcanic explosivity index. And that's one of the highest ratings there is no end to the rating scale, but that is one of the highest known. So it has to have had at least one explosion of that size, and it releases more than 240 cubic miles of material. So if you know Lake Erie is one of the Great Lakes around Michigan on the thumb side, and 2 of those would have to explode. I know that's kind of hard to imagine how much stuff that is, but that's a lot. Yeah. Future eruptions, probably not as catastrophic as the original ones. It would be mostly ash. Still cause a lot of problems, but not as bad as some people think it will be. There are no more super volcanoes erupting, and haven't been for the past 10,000 years. 42 of them have erupted in the last 36 million years. So yeah, Yellowstone is considered a super volcano. It actually had 3 VEI eruptions, but they've been so long ago that we're not so worried about those happening now. And they're a lot bigger than Mount St. Helens. So if you look at that information, they're 6,000 times bigger, 700 times bigger, and 2,500 times bigger than our great big explosion of Mount St. Helens. So there are many of them, many stratovolcanoes here in Washington. If you get a chance to visit them, I got to go to 2, and you should go too. So Mount Rainier, that is a picture I took that it's so beautiful. And then Mount St. Helens. And one cool thing about Mount St. Helens is just like the Newberry, there are caves. This is called the Ape Cave. It's about a 2-mile walk all the way to the end. And that's the only light in it right there is the entrance to it. If you go down there, you have to have a headlamp. And the coolest thing is at the end, you have to belly crawl to get to the very end and touch the end of the cave. So go there if you can. And that is it. I am done. And I hope you enjoyed this. You're welcome to pause it and go back and redo anything or check my blog. There's a link to the PowerPoint on there without having to listen to me talk. So enjoy. And I hope to see your smiling faces very, very soon.